All right, guys, today we are going to be reacting to Andrew Wilson schooling a pro-abortion feminist who is too emotional. Jumping, guys. Let's see what's going on here, okay?
I want to address the argument you just brought up in the case of SA. It's a terrible thing. No pro-lifer ever wants a woman to get pregnant in this situation. But abortion does not undo that trauma. It may add more trauma because abortion itself is traumatic.
Yeah.
And if we're not even going to give penalty to the horrific person that committed this crime against her, why would we give the penalty to an innocent child for the crimes of their father?
But then that goes back to, I believe the death penalty for anybody that does SA.
But do you think that death penalty should be given to an innocent child for the crimes of their father?
No, but I believe it's the woman's choice, regardlessly.
A choice to do what, though?
To if she wants to keep the baby or not. Not just abort it. That's what I'm saying. Keep the baby or not.
44% of women regret their abortions.
Then I wish they would have thought it a little bit more through.
She's got the stats.
No accountability.
I wish women would truly think about it, because I think Abigail said it or someone said it, but there is some women that like try to joke about it and like try to be like he. What?
Have you had an abortion?
No, I've actually never been pregnant either. So.
Yeah, she never had an abortion. Well.
Yeah,
so
but I know people that have.
Yeah, no, I get it. I understand that, right? But don't you think that a lot of times women have abortions and then feel like there's no going back because they have to endlessly justify it for the rest of their lives?
Yeah, but see, that's exactly why.
Endlessly justify it.
If you are truly you should literally stick it in your brain and be like, I have a baby inside me. I have a baby inside me. This is gonna be a baby. Will I do this to myself? And if they are willing to sit there with themselves and be like, okay, I will do it, I will take this, then I guess whatever empathy or whatever type of mood and whatever type of emotions they're feeling,
okay,
I'm not here to confuse someone else's emotions.
Hang on. Last question I have for you.
Okay.
What would change your mind on this issue? What thing could be said as an argument that if you heard it, right, would reconcile this in your brain so that it would settle the issue for you? What would that be?
I think the biggest thing, and this is also something I do say too, women that have abortions usually cannot conceive a child the same way they did with the first one. They usually tend to have problems like complications. Once you have an abortion.
She's obfuscating. She's not answering the question. The reason she's not asking the question, because if she answered the question truthfully, the sisterhood's going to go against her. See, there's a code between females, right? And shame cannot be on the table. Anything that they can contribute to bring shame back cannot be put on the table.
There is more risk to your next pregnancy.
Does not answer my question.
See? That's not the question.
Thing could I do?
This is the final question on this, and then I have to move
the belief that this is okay. What is that thing? And then if I refute that thing, will you change your mind on this issue?
Yeah, but I just can't think of a thing like that right now.
You can't think of a thing. So you're holding on passionately to an issue.
No.
Emotional issue.
You know why. You don't even know why.
No, I just know enough, like, to the point where, I mean, like I'm saying, I'm not here to tell you, though, how you feel.
You hold the stance. You have no idea.
I know, but exactly. But like I'm saying, I'm not a therapist. I'm not someone to be like, oh my God, let me here to convince you. Because it's just somebody else's views. I'm not going to press.
If I could prove that it was a human being to you, would you become?
There we go, man. This females, bro. Sisterhood coming in. This is the pro-lifer. Pro-lifer is coming in. Pro-lifer is coming in to the rescue, I guess.
I'm pro-life from the moment of conception.
Yeah, if my brain could register it, yeah, but...
Okay, every biology textbook says a human life begins at fertilization. At fertilization, they meet all 7 characteristics of life. You have your own separate DNA. Everything about you, your sex, hair color, eye color, was determined at the moment of conception. You were you, and you were valuable, and you are a human life that deserves equal human rights.
Okay.
Bars. It's
true.
true.
You agree
it's the
with
same
that?
thing with animals.
Miss Andres.
Oh, yeah, same thing with animals. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wait, do
You see
you
how
agree with her?
you see how she's looking like this and just giving it back to Andrew? You guys notice that? That's a negative body language. She's doing that on purpose. When you're talking with females, they tend to do this stuff. You have to be aware of this, right? And also, if it is better to just avoid these kind of situations, just go. That'll be much better. But this is her way of saying, I'm very uncomfortable talking with Andrew. This is her way of saying that.
I said, okay, yeah.
So are you pro-life now?
But so
If it
you
makes
said
you feel better,
you said if there was
but I still have different views. I still have different views on different situations.
But so you disagree with science then, that it's not a human life?
There's a lot of science. I guess I wouldn't say I disagree on it, but
Wait,
it's just
hold on. Biology is not a soft science. Biology is a hard science.
I have the studies right now if you would
Yeah.
like to look at them.
But you guys are gonna waste more time trying to convince me
You
than me
just
trying
want
to
to be
learn
right.
it on myself, on my own.
But you did just say if like
Yeah.
this was the standard, then it would change your mind on abortion.
And then-
she just established that it was.
Yeah, and I said, oh, but what I said, if you could, and run the clip back, I said, if you could actually, if my brain could process it right now, then yeah, I will change my mind in 2.3 seconds
Now,
once you tell me.
the reality
But I'm
is
not.
that if you want to know the anti-women voting argument, the main one for rationality is that women will often hold to stances which are illogical based on emotion. And this, pure emotion, pure fucking emotion.
No logic.
No stance based in logic, reason. No, you can't refute a stance based in non-rational emotional thinking, right? And this is why all those repeal the 19th, which, by the way, again, I'm saying I want to limit suffrage for everybody because I just think it's a bad idea that everybody votes in a society. I think that's stupid. But when it comes to this, with Chair 1, like, look at the rationality. No rationality whatsoever. Holding to a stance at a pure...
Yeah, but I hold it to the stance just because of the certain types of topics. Like I told her, it's not like I'm over here like, oh my God, you should do it at any age, at any given weeks, but that's
rational. You don't have a rational reason why you hold this stance. Tell me the rational reason you hold this stance. What is it?
it. Because I believe it's my own body and I should have my own cheese.
It's not
There's a
your, it's
belief.
not your body. It's a baby's
it's
body.
not.
That's
It's a belief. See, when it comes down to belief is something very subjective. And we can talk about this in this, this can go way beyond not only about the abortion topic, but also religion and so on and so forth. But the problem with this is you see how pro-lifer comes into the picture. What she's doing is literally trying to save her. See, right now, Andrew has her right in the corner. However, sister has to come in and just, try to pet her right in the head. Don't worry, you will understand this. This is what's going on. You see, this is why Andrew is smiling.
being hurt and killed by
But
an
it's
abortion.
inside of my body and it will not be it will not be creating without me.
So a child's dependency on their mother's body to survive is a death sentence.
No, it's not a death sentence. Somebody
Because
said.
a newborn baby also relies
But then again,
on their
then
mother's
there's
body
those
for breast
women.
milk.
There's those women that have children, and then they're mean as fuck and abusive to their children because they never want
We're
them.
not
So they're better
forcing
off
anyone to be
dead?
mothers. We're not forcing anyone to be mothers. We just want to hold them accountable
Yeah, but
for their
that's
decision to get
pro-choice.
pregnant.
Pro-choice means you could give your baby up for adoption, you could get an abortion, or you could keep it. That's a choice.
Killing shouldn't be a
There's three-
choice, though.
There's 3 choices.
Yeah.
Yeah, it shouldn't be an
Yeah.
option.
Just because the baby
but
is
it's the fact that
inconvenient to
but it's the
you.
fact that it is, and the only person that could really tell me something is Lydia because she's the only one out there in the government area being like, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. So until you actually
Put
have
that on your resume, Lydia.
I have a
In the government area.
yeah, in the government specifics,
In
yeah.
the government area.
I understand that you're a very
she won't.
staunch anti-abortion advocate. I have a hypothetical for you.
For
which
me?
Yeah, for you.
Okay.
Which has been bothersome to me.
Okay.
Right? I had to think about it for a long time because it was actually difficult for me to reconcile. You believe life begins at conception, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so then in vitro fertilization clinic, all of those eggs have been fertilized, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So an in vitro fertilization clinic is on fire. There's a 2-year-old who's in there and he's crying, and there's thousands of eggs next to him. Would you save the thousands of eggs, or would you grab the 2-year-old if you could only choose one?
I don't think it changes the argument, and here's why. In the Titanic, when it was sinking, they chose
Yeah, but oh my God, she just went straight to the Titanic. A 3-year-old, that would be the correct answer in my opinion, because what happened is for the eggs, right? You will need somebody, right? They have to go through this process. The 3-year-old is already outside. That's the argument. It's already outside. It's already outside. It's already developed in some ways. For the eggs, you probably have to implant the eggs to a woman, and it's gonna take a little bit longer time, right? But it's a hard question. That will be my position. Will be the 3-year-old.
save the women and children first, like we talked about earlier. Does that mean that the men are worth less? No, absolutely
Yeah, but
not.
but wait, there's a rationale behind that, which is based around social duty. The valuation that you're talking about is equality in life after and before the effect of birth. This is the argument for being pro-life from your stance. So these fertilized eggs have as much ontological value as that 2-year-old. So justify how it would be that you would grab the 2-year-old.
I don't know what I'd do in that situation, but I think
If you had to.
I don't think.
See, the people
at the end of the day,
these people are taking this very serious. The 3-year-old, yeah, you're gonna allow the kid to be screaming in the back. Rah! Yeah, let me just. No, let's be realistic. 3-year-old. I mean, I know it's very hard to understand, but yeah, the 3-year-old. Sadly, but that's the answer.
first of all, we have an emotional response to gravitate towards a screaming 2-year-old who can feel pain, has conscious ability to experience what's happening, whereas
Okay, what
the
if the
embryos
2-year-old can't feel pain and he's not crying?
Yeah, that might be part of the consideration. It still doesn't change the argument, though. They're still equally valuable. For instance, if I have my own 2-year-old and there's a bunch
She's being political correct. It's the 3-year-old, guys. The 3-year-old. The 3-year-old. That's the real, because remember, for the eggs, it needs it's a longer process to fertilize. You know, like the 3-year-old is already out. I would say like that.
of other
It's already
2-year-olds that are not mine in the corner. I might be conflicted about who to save. Doesn't change the argument that they're all equally valuable. They're all equally living human beings.
Yeah, but I'm not disputing that within the worldview, they're all equally valuable. The dispute comes in as to why the intuition would be for most people to go for the 2-year-old
Yeah, I think
instead of the eggs. Or
Right.
why it would be that most people wouldn't cry over the fact. Or, for instance, let me give you an example. Nurse carelessly knocks over a bunch of fertilized eggs. Did she just murder a ton of people?
Accidentally, but yes, those are, I mean, that's why the IVF industry is extremely problematic, because they're creating all of these millions of babies in embryonic form and then freezing some of them, destroying a bunch of them, practicing eugenics on them by selecting the ones that are a certain sex or have certain genetic capabilities. And that's why the
But do you
IVF
think
industry
the
is
common
problematic.
person, if they knocked over that tray of eggs, right, fertilized eggs, and they all broke, would feel in any way the same conditional that they would if they just saw, for instance, like, I don't know, 100 2-year-olds get butchered in this, right?
Yeah, I mean, it probably wouldn't feel the same way because it doesn't have the same level of experiences. You might feel different. That's why we can't base the pro-life argument on emotion. It's based on logic and facts and biology that says it's a human life in the
point.
womb.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
but
what-
intuition also informs what when you're talking about moral codes and when you're talking about the ideas of how people interpersonally relate with everything.
I think it's just
So
because
so if intuitively you're like, if you asked a person, almost any person, this question, would you rather, if you had to choose, right, 100 2-year-olds get butchered in front of you, right, or 1,000 inseminated eggs get dumped on the ground? I think almost every human being you ask that question to is going to choose the eggs getting dumped on the ground, right?
Right, yeah.
So it seems to be
Well, what?
eggs get dumped on the ground. I think almost every human being you ask that question to is going to choose the eggs getting dumped on the ground, right?
Right, yeah.
So it seems to be counterintuitive a bit to the logic. Now, I agree with you, by the way, 100% agree with you that you are logically consistent. I'm just saying that in this, the intuition side is very difficult to logically reconcile.
Yeah, that's what it is. Man.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I think it's because we're kind of hardwired to emotionally respond to a screaming toddler in the way that we do, where we can't see a human in embryonic form to the same degree. We can't see the emotion on their face.
The logical position, you probably want to go with the eggs because you're logically thinking, well, there's thousands of eggs. I can have those thousands of eggs and just fertilize them later on, right? Or your emotional side, go with the kid. I don't even know, man.
It's harder to empathize with that, which is why abortion is so normalized partially. It's because we can't see that baby in the womb. People think it's genuinely a clump of cells. I mean, I, who was raised a Christian, had no idea that abortion was wrong for a while because society has just normalized it. It's so easy to dehumanize them when we can't see them with our own eyes, and we can't empathize as well with it. So I mean, I agree with you. It's difficult, but no, it doesn't change their value at the end of the day.
Can I add something? I've heard that they're using like aborted babies' eggs for IVF. Do you know if that's true?
What do you mean by that?
Aborted babies, like late-term abortions, and they're using their eggs for IVF. I've just heard that randomly.
What?
So they
have
do
no
a
idea
lot
if
of
it's
different experiments on aborted babies' body parts, unfortunately. It's disturbing. I have not heard specific.
Yo, look at her. She's uncomfortable. This lady right here, the chair number one, is uncomfortable. She probably knows somebody that went through a lot of these experiences. I'm going to stop it here because this topic is a little bit candid. But the chair one, if you notice, let's go back a little bit. Look at that. Chair one is completely uncomfortable with this conversation. And I know why. This experience probably is very close to her. Not because she had one, probably somebody that she knows. She probably somebody that she knows had an experience very similar to what they're discussing. And the end of the day, I don't give a damn, right? The reason I say that is because it's very irresponsible. Right now, we need kids. We need babies. Some people might say some arguments. We can talk about those arguments, and the few exceptions I understand. However, even with some of the exceptions, I would not even go to their side, because they have been using those exceptions to just push this topic way over the middle ground. So at this point, their arguments is being destroyed because they overused their exceptions to just push this thing all the way to babies are almost there to just be born, and sadly, the fact that it happens multiple times. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you in the next one.